Oh. Here, go fill up. Film it. Is that what that is?
Dang.
How do you guys like it so far? It's awesome. Pretty cool, right?
Did he lose part of his tail?
Yes. Do you get to know some of these gators? Some of them, the females.
Okay.
Yes, because females are extremely territorial. They actually fight to the death over their area, so they own their spot, and they really only need about a football field size there, 100 yards their entire life. If there's a good food source and she can fight to keep it, she'll never leave.
Oh, there's another one right
So
there.
females, yes, they stay in the same spots. You can almost bet on it. And
Have
then
you
a
seen
male-
different females go at it, or?
I've watched them fight. Yeah, they'll fight literally all day long.
Wow. Can you
7
tell
in
the
the morning.
difference between the male and female?
Oh, you have to flip them over.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's one right there, like.
So is that part of the trip?
Yes, but I only need one volunteer, and then we'll figure this right out.
Where's the other one? Where?
Right there. It'll land right there in the grass.
Maybe there's two.
You can see its body.
Yeah.
Over there, by
You
the
guys see all
tree.
this- You guys see all this grass we're cutting through? Sawgrass. And they named it sawgrass for a good reason. It is very sharp. But also directional, so just like a saw blade.
Another one coming over there.
You can run your fingers up it, and it won't cut you at all. It's when you try to run your fingers down it. That's when it'll cut you. Very, very sharp.
Huh.
The base is just like the heart of the palm. Very high in fiber. You can eat the end of it. I'll let you guys check it out. Resist that urge, though. Don't cut yourself. When they refer to the river of grass, the Everglades, they're referring to sawgrass. And that's because it covers about 40% of the glades, which is a huge area. The Everglades here in total is 1.5 million acres. So really, really large area. Also one of the slowest moving rivers in the entire world. So this is a river. It does flow.
I thought this was me.
This that we're in right this second, yes. Yep, but everything we're out, out in the prairies, that's all natural. So it is a river. It does flow.
Remember, go up.
Only 1 mile every 26 hours, though. Throw it in.
Okay.
It doesn't even flow a mile a day. Very, very slow-moving river. Flows all the way from Lake Okeechobee, which is kind of like our basin, that giant lake in the middle of Florida. And it flows directly south all the way down to the Florida Bay. So about an hour and a half south of here is where this river ends up, right into the
Another
bay.
one right there.
Right where the Keys start. That's where this river ends. You know, when they built these roads, like Highway 41, the road you guys came in on, they had no clue this was a river. So they built it from east to west, and they thought it was very convenient to get from Miami over to Marco and to Naples to Tampa, not realizing the river ran from the north to the south. So they completely blocked the flow of water. They dammed it off. And they had no clue, but they do now, and that's why you're seeing all that construction, all these bridges and pumps, canals, dams, culverts. They're just trying to send all the water south is all they're doing. For about 40 years, the ocean came backwards, so it caused saltwater intrusion. It killed a lot of mangrove habitat, and seagrass. It goes on and on.
Oh.
The average depth is 1 to 3 feet, but it varies a ton depending on rainfall throughout the year. So this is all rainwater that you see. It has nothing to do with the ocean or the moon or the tide. Strictly rainfall. In June, July, August, it tends to pretty much rain here every day. So our water level comes way up. You can see it on the trees. See the water line on the tree? Look at the purple gallon. See that bird?
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, and then March and
Colorful
April
bird.
most years, due to lack of rainfall throughout the winter, completely dry most of the time. Like a desert most years. You can get out and walk and dust will come off the sea.
Did yesterday help out a little bit with the rain? No, not really.
Because it's so dry out there,
It's just soaking
it's
it
going
up
to
right
take,
now.
it would take a
And the
week
tree.
of rain to bring it even to where you could ride in the
constant rain.
prairies. Yeah. Yep.
Is this like a fish nursery? Like, do they come and have
The
their
fish?
in here? Yeah.
No, they don't stock it at all. It's what happens is when the water drops in the glades, they have to find a deeper area. So either a mud ditch, a canal, a pond, a lake, your swimming pool, alligator hole. An alligator will dig out a hole in preparation for dry season, so they have somewhere to go. But it's also a fish and a turtle trap for them because they have nowhere else to go. these are man-made. This is called the mud ditch. You know, they dug these out in the late 30s, and they thought back then the Everglades here was just wasteland. You really couldn't farm here. You couldn't build. I mean, look at it. It was just too much water, you know?
Yeah.
So they figured, you know what, we'll dig these out. We're going to use pumps and send all this water to the Florida Bay. And to the bay. And they tried. They tried for about 10 years. And eventually they just gave up. They abandoned all these projects. And the reason it didn't work is because this was a river and it was already going to the bay. So they had no clue then, but they do know now that these are extremely beneficial to our wildlife here in March and April. This is a much deeper area for all the fish, turtles, gators to come into. You see these taller trees up and down the edges? Pond apples. Very similar to a crab apple, if you ever heard of it. Very similar. They do produce a full-size apple, but it is not a grocery store. It is terrible. I do not recommend it. The green ones are actually full of cyanide. They can kill you. Yeah, they can kill you. You have to wait till they're yellow or black, and then they'll fall off the tree and they float. That's when you know they're ripe enough to eat. Don't recommend them.
Still not good though.
No.
Do the birds and stuff eat them?
What was that?
Do the birds eat them?
And the gators, and the turtles, and the fish.
Okay.
Everything eats them when they fall off that tree. Once that gator opens it up, or snapping turtle opens it up, everything will it's like a frenzy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's like a chum ball in the water.
Yeah.
So it's not a last resort. They actually like it. Okay.
Yeah.
Are these considered mangroves too?
No. These are pond apples.
Pond apples. Okay.
But these are very, very similar to a mangrove. This is like a freshwater mangrove.
Yeah.
Oh,
This and a cypress tree are probably the closest thing you're going to get to a mangrove. But about 30 miles south of here, that's where you get into like mangrove forest, all the way up. You know.
So that's a difference. The salt water.
Saltwater, yes.
Mangrove.
So yes,
Fresh is.
you got it. So they're very similar, and they grow on edges just like this. Like a mangrove forest, you're going to see. It's on the edge of where fresh water runs into salt water.
Okay.
That's where a mangrove grows. And the same thing for these pond apples or a cypress tree. They're going to grow wherever there's freshwater flow. They like that flow. When it rains, you know, it
Just that clean.
Just turned his head.
Oh, looked at me.
Cool. I can tell you that's one of the hardest trees.
Beat you up.
Right there.
Come closer to
That thing
me.
will just tear your buggy tire right off. It will. It'll just rip it right off.
That's strong.
Yeah, they're incredible. Cool. The Indians would always grow them around their islands so that there was no erosion. Their root system's amazing. See how we're seeing alligators so close together? That's only because it's mating season and it's dry.
Okay.
They really have no choice but to be around each other, and they don't like it. They'll fight. They fight a lot. But mating season is pretty much the only time of year that you're going to see them together. They are extremely solitary. They like to be by themselves.
Okay.
By themselves. So like I said before, the female still, all they need is a football field size area. The male, he wanders aimlessly his entire life until mating season.
Okay.
And then you might see him in the same spots, but only for 6 or 7 days, and then he's gone.
How long do the babies stay with the mother?
11 months. If
11
nothing's wrong with them.
Okay.
So they're born with little yellow stripes on them, and when those yellow stripes go away, the mother knows they're mature enough to be on their own, and that's at 11 months.
Interesting.
But if something's wrong with them, like a tail or an eye or a foot, those stripes won't go away for 3 or 4 years, and then she feels obligated to take care of them. So most of those gators actually have a really good life.
Okay.
And that's because mom's protection is there,
How big do they have to be in order to be ready for mating? Like how many
4
feet?
foot long.
How many?
4 years, 4 foot long.
Okay.
They tend to grow right around a foot a year.
Yeah.
for the first 4 years of their life. And then they'll grow 1 inch per year after that. So for the first 4 years, they grow fast, really fast. And then after that, it slows down to basically nothing. It takes 12 years to grow a foot, and that's in a perfectly good environment. Some live in like a mud ditch on the side of the road, and they might not grow at all for 20 years straight, just depending on the surroundings. An alligator only needs 1 meal per year to survive, so they don't have to eat every day like you would think.
One a year?
1 per year, a quarter of their body weight. But if they're only eating that 1 meal per year, they're not going to grow.
I see.
They're only surviving. They're not thriving at all. These gators out here, they eat all day, every day. So they do grow fast.
Is there any other animals out here?
Oh, tons of mammals. Yeah, we have 54 different mammals. Lots of panthers, bears, deer, pigs, bobcats, squirrels, raccoons, coyotes, foxes, rabbits. You name it, it's here. The only thing we don't have.
They live out here too?
Yes,
wow.
they sure do. And on hardwood hammocks, which are big islands. And there's hundreds of thousands of hardwood hammocks through the Everglades, and some are tiny. Some are smaller than this boat, but some of them go on for 80 miles.
Wow,
And
that's
they're called
cool.
strands. And yeah, they're all dry ground, and that's where you're going to find most of the mammals. They do hang out like in here. This is a perfect area for deer and pigs on the left. They love this. They love to walk through that. It's shaded. It's dry ground. That's where they like to hang out.
But are they gator bait a lot of times, or not really?
No. Nope, they're not. Now, a deer, the only thing he really worries about here, naturally, is a panther.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a panther
definitely.
needs a deer a week to survive, but they kill 3 because they're a cat. And most of the time, they'll just drag them off so that the coyotes don't mess with them while they're eating. They don't like that. They'll kill two deer in a row and drag them off to the side and let the coyotes eat them while they go eat their nice, perfectly good deer by themselves. That's because they're such a good hunter.
Well, okay, cool.
All right, here we go.
All right.
It's a baby.
Little guy. About 2 foot long, 2 years old. See the stripes on him? Yellow stripes? You guys see those?
Is it on right on top?
Yeah, all the way down. There's a bunch of them.
Okay.
Stripes. They're starting to go away.
I see.
But something's definitely
okay.
wrong with them.
Oh, you
Or her.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. When they have those stripes like that at 2 years old, something's wrong with them.
And that's about the age of this one, you think?
Yeah,
Right
two,
here? Okay,
yep,
about
2
2.
years, 2 foot.
So would Mama be around?
Oh, she's looking right at us, and I don't know where, but I can guarantee you that. That's a fact. She might be in the woods right there, though. There is a nice little trail, like they walk up right there. Alligator slide.
I see that. Too.
I saw one time an alligator called her babies to her, and they got in her mouth.
They will. Yeah, they do it all
She
the
was
time.
carrying them around.
Yeah, you'll see them on their back and their mouth. They make a ow, 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 ow. That's what they do.
How much time do they spend on the land? Just to heat up?
You
a
know
little
what? About 30% of their life, probably.
bit? Oh, 30?
Yeah,
Okay. 70
yeah.
years.
Most of the time they're going to be in the water. The only time you're going to see them on land is when it's going to be cold the next day or something like that.
Okay.
They kind of feel that that pressure change. They'll get up on the edge. They need heat to bring their body temperature up, digest food. They're cold-blooded, so they do need the sun.
Yeah.
But the water regulates their temperature really well for them. Most of the time, you're going to see them in the water with their back in the sun. And that's because those bumps on their back are called alligator scoots, and those are like solar panels. Every one of them just like a solar panel. And they have them to help disperse heat evenly since they're cold-blooded. So it does help them digest food and stuff like that.
Do they ever sleep on the bottom?
They do. They will. They only stay down for about 2 hours. About the longest they can hold their breath is about 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But you will see them on the bottom, and most of the time that's when it's very cold outside. And that's because the water's so much warmer than the air that they'll stay down. This is called cattail. Where you guys from?
Indiana.
Oh, you guys have
We have
cattail.
lots of cattail.
That's what we use here is a gauze Band-Aid. Or tinder to start a fire. It works really well. This is just a small piece, so just an example. And we scrape this into essentially what we know is like a gauze pad. Works very well as tinder. Very well as tinder. You have to dry it out for a couple of days. So you got like a gauze pad. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Or a gauze Band-Aid. See that? Cool. You guys can check it out. You see the tree that's growing out over the edge right here? It looks dead. Not the one with the apple on it, but the one next to it right here looks dead. That's called a southern willow, and the bark has acetylsilic acid in it. So same ingredient that's an aspirin. You can chew on that bark; it'll make your headache and your pain go away. Like the one running on an angle out over the bank.
What's that called again?
Southern willow.
Southern willow.
Southern willow. Yeah.
Oh, 5 years. That's crazy.
Guys tend to live right between about 65 and 100 years old, so they do live a long time. Male alligators will get 16 feet long. They'll get as long as this boat.
Okay.
And then females about 12.
So since the food's hardy around here, do they live longer, or that doesn't matter?
It just makes for a better life for them, that's for sure.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to live any longer than 100 years. They do fight a lot out here. You know, captivity is where they get kind of like fed every day, and they're kind of separated, and they don't get, you know, they don't have to fight every day, and they're not, you know, too stressed out. And that's like alligator farms is where they do that. So that's for the meat, and boots, belts, purses, wallets, stuff like that.
So out in the wild, their life expectancy is not as long as they're fighting.
You got it. You got it. Yep, especially for territory. 80 teeth, 40 on the top, 40 on the bottom.
Okay.
And they go through about 3,000 teeth in their lifetime.
Okay.
And that's from eating turtles. Yeah, they have 2,000 pounds of bite down pressure. They eat turtles like we eat Cheez-Its. Yeah. This boat only weighs 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible. But yeah, turtles, fish, frogs, that's going to be their main diet, but they will eat, you know, birds and small mammals and dogs, cats, people every now and then. People every now and then.
Is that why we don't see a lot of turtles just hanging out? And...
No, yeah, that's part of it. You know, we have their favorite food is a soft-shell turtle, and they're native here. Soft-shell turtles, they get huge, but a soft-shell turtle can hold its breath for 7 months underwater. 7 months.
Wow.
They absorb oxygen through their skin, so they go into like a dormant state. So that's why you don't see a lot of soft shells just, you know, everywhere. They can stay in the mud for a long, long time. See you next year.
Yeah, no kidding.
Come land on my hand, buddy. No, you don't like a perch?
Do they lay their eggs underneath the water?
No,
Or
no, above
they
the
dig
water.
It up?
Above the water. Yep. Yeah, it looks like a giant bonfire. They just rip all the sticks and leaves and trees and everything they can. They rip it out of the ground with their mouth. They stack it right on top of those eggs, and it looks like a giant bonfire.
That's cool.
She'll lay on it for about 8 or 9 days, a bunch of different ways, just to mat all the grass and sticks down. And they have 30 to 60 eggs in their nest. It takes them 65 days to hatch. What's really cool about gators, though, is depending on where she decides to put that nest, whether it be in the sun or in the shade, it will determine the gender of the babies. So anything above 93 degrees, which is direct sunlight, they'll all come out male. Anything below 87, which is the shade, they'll all come out female. And then any temperature in between is 30 males and 30 females. And turtles are the same exact number to the point as alligators, but opposite as far as that gender goes. So pretty neat. Pretty neat. All right, buddy.
And the turtles stay with their mate?
No.
two different eyelids. One's for underneath the water. It's clear. Just like a mask or a pair of goggles for us. They can see and hunt very well in the water. And then they have a protective eye lens that's pretty similar to ours. Their vision's considered poor compared to ours, but we have excellent vision. So they can still see very, very well. Very, very well. And they do see in color. Pretty cool. I don't know if you guys can see it from here, but there's a little tiny cut right behind the eye. It runs at like a 45-degree angle. And that's their ear. They have a waterproof ear. They hear very well underwater. Any kind of fish splash or any of that, they keen right in on it. They can swim right to it underwater. Never even know they're coming. Buddy, definitely has him a trail, right?
Yeah.
A trail that goes
Yeah,
there.
yeah, definitely. It's a nice little spot.
Either that or that's like a pig trail or a deer trail and he's just waiting for it. good way to estimate the length of them is right from the tip of the nose to the beginning of the eyeball. However many inches that is, you just convert that into feet.
Huh.
There's another big one back here, guys. has a lump on the back of his head.
So that's not pretty?
No, that's not him.
So is that noise we're hearing, is that a defensive noise?
Yeah.
Oh, and that's a baby somewhere, right?
No, that was.
Oh, he was doing it.
Oh, he was doing it?
No, he was doing it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're good.
That's not him. Giant beater in here, pretty boy. I don't know where he's at.
This
I
one.
haven't seen him since last year, except for one time, and that was this morning.
Like a catfish.
But like I said, they move constantly. But I've known him for about 12 years now.
But this is his hangout around here?
Yeah. Yep. This time of year. This time of year.
This time of year, okay.
He's got his mouth open.
Is that why the mouth's open, or is he staying cool?
Stay cool.
Stay cool.
Their
Yeah.
tongues are radiators, so they let the air flow through their mouth and through their body.
It went around.
Gotcha.
Huh?
It was.
The bird.
Yeah.
So would,
Oh,
that
he's
wouldn't be
got a
like,
big head, okay,
is
so
that
it
about
wouldn't
10 foot?
Yes, 10 foot. 9.5, something like that.
Mm-hmm. He's shy.
That's not.
Yeah, he's kind of ugly.
some.
I've not even seen.
You guys can see that ear real well now. See all the bumps on the back? Those are alligators.
Them flies are annoying. Logan.
Is this, what's this? These, are those
Uh-oh.
ropes that we see stick up in the
Yes.
water?
Oh,
Oh,
like on
Logan. You having fun over there?
He hasn't tried eating me yet, so
Yeah.
he would get.
So what's the closest?
Is
Oh,
that-
go ahead.
top. Is that close enough for you? Don't worry, he's not
He's-
trying to mess with you.
he's got his eye.
How fast can that airboat go?
By myself, I've been clocked at 93 miles an hour.
Oh, dang.
Time to break a record.
By yourself?
They're much faster than that.
We'll sign a waiver.
It doesn't go good like that with
I can feel him
With
bumping the
people on
boat.
people. It really doesn't. It doesn't
Logan's
go
like,
good at all.
yeah, use the headphones to hit it.
So
You have,
do
you have
ever,
it straight away?
Do you ever get
Oh.
off this path and go?
He's
in
trying
the
to push
hotel?
you.
Yes, only when the water comes.
Logan's like, you better back
these
up.
couple months, it's
Oh,
no
he is.
running in the prairies because there's no water.
Yeah, you're
But when that water comes up in the summer, yeah, you can pretty much ride everywhere. But the alligators are not going to be as concentrated. On a trip in the summer, you're probably going to see about 3 or 4 gators.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because they can go wherever they want.
So you said it came up to the boat for fish. Are there people that come out here and actually feed?
No, not
Oh.
feed them. No.
Oh.
He's just hunting right now.
Oh,
He's
okay.
hunting.
So,
He's
okay,
pushing-
I got you.
He's
I got
pushing stuff against the boat. If you watch him, he'll use his arms and he
Uh-huh.
like pushes everything to his mouth with his arms.
you. Okay.
And it'll turn his head sideways. Turn his head sideways.
It was a
The
fish.
fish.
Try to catch a fish. Yeah, he's got him trapped against us in the boat.
I see. What bird is this? I see.
Boat-tailed grackle.
Okay.
And that's the female.
Okay.
Directly related to the crow. Extremely intelligent bird.
Huh.
When we ride through this grass, there's all kinds of crickets and dragonflies and
Yeah.
frogs
Yeah.
and
Oh,
spiders.
it brings them up.
And they think this boat's Uber Eats.
I think that's a
Logan's like,
red
Bird, you better not come down here, so he jumps up at you.
Yep, sure is.
They're not afraid, are they? They'll
No.
just come right up.
No, those birds, the black one's the male. The big black one is the male, and they look just like a crow.
Yeah.
They're so smart that they hang out at the gas station on the corner.
Just sitting
And
there.
they'll hop around on one foot and hold their wing out. And everybody feels really bad for them. So they give them like pieces of their sandwich.
Really?
And then the
Wow.
bird grabs it and they just fly off like nothing's even wrong.
That's funny.
Yeah, they're pretty smart.
Oh.
I always get worried about taking my airboat key and flying off with it. Yeah, you're touching wires together. Let's see what this does.
So that floating root stuff,
Yeah,
is that edible?
no,
Just wondering.
nope.
You know how sometimes, in Florida,
Yeah.
they'll use all this kind of stuff on salads.
Yeah, yeah.
Just wondered.
What is it?
A
What is it?
cattail root actually has more
What do you
protein than a
think
12-ounce
Mom
steak.
would
though.
like this?
You can
No.
eat a cattail root.
If she was in Logan's
What you
part,
showed us
she'd be
for
terrified.
She'd be in the
you
middle.
fry- No.
I know, but I'm
that's
saying if she was where Logan was at, she'd be
Yeah.
terrified.
Cattail
She'd
was
be
the
like, Brad,
one that
just
makes
flats
the banana.
now.
Yeah.
This
Logan's
one
gonna
right here on
scoot.
the left.
Oh, that's the one.
That's a cattail.
Oh, you
I
It
always
makes the
shake
corn
it.
dog, the big hot dog on top.
And
of
I'm
it.
caffeinated,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what the natives would like tie pillows with. They would also use that stalk as a spear. They dry it out for about 3 or 4 weeks because it was really
There's also one over
the
there,
longest
too.
and the straightest and the stiffest thing out here. They fly really well. They even made spears out of them, just throw them,
That's cool.
with an arrowhead on it.
See them.
So is this one of those delicious apples you were talking about?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, you saute
Oh, I
that
see
thing
it.
up in butter and garlic.
He's just moving.
Dead by the morning.
Your last meal.
Yeah.
Could have done better.
Smart to use the cattails instead of the moss.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Sugar City.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. All right.
Okay, he's under your boat.
Oh
Head
yeah,
down.
you couldn't hurt that thing.
Yeah.
Their
I was
back
gonna
is
say,
their
yeah.
back is bulletproof. It literally.
Wow.
I mean, not to a high-powered rifle, but any small caliber
Like
pistol.
a 22 or something.
Yeah, even a 40 or a 9mm.
Oh, wow.
It's not gonna penetrate like you think. There's only 2 spots on that alligator's back, and they're right on top of its head that you can really kill them, and they're about the size of a quarter on most alligators. But
So
if you
people
miss
run
that
over
spot,
them, they won't hurt them at all?
no. Look at the 2 circles right behind his eyes. Can you see them? 2 indentions.
Mhm.
See that? Those are the only 2 soft spots on that alligator's whole back.
Huh.
If you miss that with the jumper and you're shooting, you'll have bone fragments stuck in your face or in your arms or whatever. I mean, they are incredibly tough. An alligator is.
So
That's
you,
why they've been around for millions of years.
Yeah.
They're tough.
so tons of force going down, but not
Yes.
coming up.
Not at all. If they'd keep their head still,
Mhm.
a child could hold their mouth shut with
Wow.
one hand.
Wow.
Yeah, they have no.
So definitely not much at all.
It's just a hinge. They just drop it. Is basically what happens.
So you have
And
all
when
those
it-
muscles going
yeah.
down, but not.
You got it. And when it locks out on that hinge,
Mhm.
their tongue is the trigger. So even a drop of sweat off your forehead, if you are an alligator wrestler, for some odd reason, if
Are
it
you?
even no, I don't
okay.
stick my head in their mouth. You know, the Indians started that, but they would do it with an otter pelt or a beaver pelt around their head, so no sweat would drip in their mouth.
Interesting.
There's a lot of guys that are doing it now, and they don't put anything on their head. A lot of guys are getting bit. And that alligator knows you. It's just like a dog. I mean, it knows exactly who you are. Your sound of your voice, your smell, the whole 9 yards. It doesn't want to bite you. It just has no.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes. Touch their tongue, and it's over.
In our area, they're developing so much that the alligators are just walking, trying to find a place to live.
Yeah.
And then
man.
they're killing them.
I
And then
know,
taking
I-
them out to Mayaca. And,
Yeah, Mayaca State Forest and dumping them all.
yeah, they have huge.
I know.
Oh,
I've
gosh.
been there. I love that place.
Oh, yeah, it's one of our favorite places.
I love to ride through there and look at all the deer and the turkeys.
Mm-hmm.
Logan, you got lucky
Yeah,
this time.
They're developing everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, but luckily, not.
Yeah. No, it's getting bad. Look at down here.
Yeah.
The only reason they haven't built here is because this is Everglades.
Trying to fight something.
Because if it wasn't, there'd be
Fish,
high
for
rises right here.
Yeah.
Definitely. Everywhere though. Even the East Coast. I mean, it's starting to develop a lot. Even up by even Palaca and Ocala. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it is just that place.
Well, they got a
Yeah.
turnpike now. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that? I'm sorry.
Have you seen a python out here like they show on TV?
Oh, I've caught thousands of pythons out here.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, fun.
We've set the record the last 3 years in a row for the largest python in the whole country.
Oh, dang.
Right here
wow.
where we're at, Francis S. Taylor, the same
Yeah,
wood
we
ditch
see it
that
on the
we're in
news.
right now.
Yeah.
Last year it
Do
was
you keep
20.
them or do you kill them?
Well, there's
No, I
they
give
have
them
to.
to the state.
Mm.
The state comes, the FWC comes out and gets them from you. You sign the paperwork, and you get a check in the mail.
But don't they do a hunting every so often?
They do,
Because
yeah.
they're not native to.
Yeah, and that's for the public. That's for everyone to come out and just remove as many as you can
Yeah.
in just a couple day period. It's like a python derby, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, last year's snake was 20.5 feet long,
Wow.
and it had 2 deer in its stomach.
Oh my goodness.
We didn't find it. The guys that cut down non-native trees like Malalupas, they're the ones that found it. And they always call us. If it's bigger than 10 foot, they are not messing. Don't blame them.
What other snake species are common?
Say that.
Lots of diamondback rattlesnakes, water moccasins, pygmy rattlesnakes, coral snakes.
So I guess coral would be the most famous than the pygmy.
That diamondback.
Got the diamondback? Okay, even more than the coral?
Yeah, because it's going to give you a lot more.
That
Coral snake,
This bird is saying
coral snake
cheese.
doesn't
Not
destroy
for
you.
that one.
I mean, it will, but it's not going to sink you like
There's two of them now.
Gotcha.
That rattlesnake bites you, you're in trouble. The good thing about a rattlesnake is that you rattle, it's going to give you a fair warning.
Yeah.
And if you go up towards him, he's going to bite you. Water moccasin will go out of his way to come and bite you. For no reason. They are. I don't know what's wrong with them. They're always trying to bite you. That's how you get rid. Honestly, the best thing you can do is if you get lost out here is to follow an alligator trail. Find you an alligator trail, follow that. Do not follow the deer or the pig trail. He lays on that trail.
Interesting.
Oh, there's an alligator right
See him
there.
coming?
Look, he's moving.
Mm-hmm.
You see him?
Yeah, I do.
But you gotta wait till they moved sometimes to see
Oh,
him.
there he is.
They are extremely camouflaged.
Straight in the middle.
Like a mud pond. All right, guys, we're clear for takeoff.
Go fast.